we step on the mic, man, you know there's a difference. Heavenly blessed with the melanin, baby, you know that we winning. No time for the long talk, got 120 on the clock. Wednesday 8 through 10, all the bad vibes better stop. Cause you gotta come with that energy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. Lil' Coco be spitting that remedy. Casual convos, baby, come down and just sit with me. You better take this shit serious. She dropping knowledge on head and it's free for the play. Tap in right now if you curious. We got the ham radio going lit every A. We go from people to family to pilots. Stay with me if you got something to say. Know it's important if we go acknowledge. Speak on the business and get out the way. What you gonna say about my mama? She winning, you rockhead.
So, hello, welcome to the Casual Convo Show, where we have conversations about topics that affect the community's personal and business relations. We always have the casual convo, so you don't have to have the tough convo. I am your host, Coco, and of course, joining me as usual every week, my amazing co-host, DJ extraordinaire, Big Boscoe from the Bronx.
Yo, what's up?
Oh, I was going to say, what you about to do? Like, how are you?
Well, it's good, man. What's up?
Still painting? What's up? You still painting?
Kind of. I'll take some paint off or something like quick. Well, I'm engaged. Don't worry. I'm not gonna be You got my attention. I'm versatile.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do the mental health check-in. I'm gonna say I'm good. Feeling better. Was a little under the weather a little bit. But what I will say is I see why people use do not disturb the feature on your phone, because trying to sleep, and it's like, you know how you'll tell somebody, yeah, well, not feeling too good, I'm just gonna go to sleep for a little bit, and then they keep calling you and texting you. Hey, Fallon. I was like, you know what? Sugar, D&D that ass. How are you?
I'm good, man. Just tired. That's all. Just tired. Just been busy last. Nah. I was just had a lot of stuff to do around the yard and around the house, but all's good though. I'm straight.
You got 5 minutes?
Nah, let's skip it.
What? You don't? Hello, Jabbar.
I do, but I do, but now I'm gonna wait for another show to talk about it.
Okay, so I guess I'll explain tonight. So tonight it's a part 2 of the review, but a little bit different. The show that we're going to discuss first, for me, had a lot of it was symbolic of a lot of things, like in the community, things that was made for good discussion, which was Unlocked on Netflix. So it pretty much, I was explaining to Bosco when I saw it, it kind of reminded me of the Stanford experiment, but a lot 10 times better. It wasn't manipulative. It wasn't none of that. It was like actually pretty dope. Hey, Marina. So pretty much it starts off with, it was a prison in shoot, I forgot. Was it Arkansas? One of them. I want to say Arkansas. So it was a prison, and they went on 23-1. So they were in the cells 23 hours. Only got out for 1 hour, right? So they called on the sheriff, what we call wardens. Well, I don't know what people call it in their state. So he come in, but he opens up saying how he wanted to do an experiment in his prison with one of the units where they would be like, they want to take the COs out and leave the doors open, not the doors for them to like get out, but the doors to their cells, where so they would have free range to do what they need to do, and they had to pretty much, they called it community, which I understand the word for all the word, like create their own community where they were in charge of themselves. They were going to police themselves, right? Yeah. So it goes through, you know how they show like different inmates. So mind you, it ranged from older, middle to young. interesting thing. So when he goes in, he tell the guys what's going on. So they amped up, they pumped up, right? So he explains to them the process, what they were going to do. The CEOs were going to leave, but they would come and still do their counts and all of that stuff, right? Conversary, everything was still function the same, but the doors were open. They were pretty much on their own, but they did know that they were being watched through camera, of course, because they seen the cameras and everything like that. So when the CEOs and everything left, one of them, Randy, you could tell he was going to be, I'm going to be in charge. I'm going to do this, that, and the third. So he goes, I'm going to create a team of who can be put in place. Because his thing was, you still need structure in order for it to work, to keep the doors open. So in their mind, we want to keep these doors open because the experiment was for 6 weeks. But they wanted to keep it beyond. So depending on how the 6 weeks goes, was how they was going to go, how it was going to go. So Randy go to all the cells. I need you. You gonna do this. This gonna be your role. This gonna be your role. This gonna be your role. So all the guys was like, oh yeah, all right, cool. That's what's up. Yeah, da 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 da. But it was mainly the older guys. But when he left the cell, they was looking at the camera like, who he think he is, trying to tell everybody what like he always wanted to be in charge. This is that and the third. He think he everybody for them. Yeah. So anywho, the doors unlocked. Everybody goes into their room. Of course, nobody said to his face because he was like the one, I guess he had been there the longest, had the most respect or whatever. So, of course, it was resistance. Yeah. And he was like, well, the trade's going to do this, da 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 da. But nobody would really challenge him to his face. But the younger guys still, it was still, I don't want to say clicked up, but it was still grouped. The younger guys pretty much showed together, play ball, do whatever they do. Then the older guys showed the guy what they did. And you had the middle-aged guys that was kind of here, and then you had the guys that was tattooing. They was like, oh, we lit. They was getting high. They was doing all kinds of stuff, making hooch, everything. Yeah. So it was one that grew on me, Tiny. Tiny was off the chain. So he was like, I mean, man, what you gonna come in here and do all this, do all that? Everything he said was just funny, but overly like extra. So before I go into what happens with the next one, what made me think about it was how it connects to like with you, some of the stuff we talked about as far as like that older against younger thing. But it's always one, because it was one guy. What was his? I can't think. His name was Mayhem. Him and Randy was like this though. It was like a respect thing that they had. So his thing was pretty much, don't boss stupid stuff. I ain't gonna come to you with no stupid stuff. So they kind of like, he was the one for the young guys and Randy. So he goes into it. So I was like, that gets just crazy, because how you always be like, when you try to like help out and school somebody, it's always that reason. It's like, you don't know what this is that and the third, da 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 da. But midway, some shit happened or whatever. Randy was like, I'm gonna let a cause fall where it fall, because they was becoming resistant, saying that he wanted to control everybody. They went buck wild. Shit got shut down. They ended up back in the South, right? Which led me to be about you, when you be like, okay, I'm just trying to school you on how things go, because no matter how you package it, or no matter what you do, everything in your life has to have some type of structure, no matter what it is you want to do. And that kind of put me in a frame of mind to think about you. I was like, oh, we gotta dissect this, but you ain't even watch it.
I mean, I would like to see more prisons try that, but they would have to. I think it would have to start at a certain prison, because, like I said, you do have those people, young and old, who still want to buck the system. And I think, like I was saying about off the air, how I was saying about the one prison in, I guess, Norway. I'm not sure. I have to look it up. Where the prisoners basically the prisoners run the prison, but not in terms of in a negative way. They keep order. So whoever's there, they can do their time and let it be. The families are able to come there and stay overnight with them, stuff like that.
Overnight? That's
Yeah.
conjugal, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Family could stay, they can't just live there, but they can stay overnight with them, whatever. But they still got to do their daily chores they have, because they're still locked up. But it's not for people who's locked up for a long, like you might be locked up for like 2-3 years, something like that. Or maybe be getting ready to get out. That's when they send you there. There are guards there, but they basically oversee things. The prisoners basically run the prison. And they said people, their crime rate is like very low. Because those who do real heinous stuff, they get rid of them. And if it means kill them, they kill them.
I mean, well, they still had stuff going on. It just wasn't. It was still structured. Like you still had the rules. You still had certain stuff. They wasn't going to tell. They weren't going to do all of that. Yeah. But I think the more that they did well with just basic rules, they would get certain rewards. Like they ended up with like free phone calls, which was one. I thought that was pretty dope because what it showed was like one of the things he said was, one of the important pieces of a lot of people that's incarcerated is communication to the outside world, to their family, their friends, lawyers, whoever it is that you need to speak to, right? So when they made it free, the ones who families or who didn't have no money, they were able to reach out. Like one guy, they was ready to fight over the phone because he wanted to call his lawyer to see what was up with his case because they were still like pending. Their sentencing was pending. So he was able to finally call his lawyer. The one guy, Tiny, he grew on me so much. He was able to talk to his son. And he hadn't talked to his son since he had been locked up. His son was so cute. Like, I mean, he was probably like 14 or whatever, but the interaction, you could tell he missed them, but it was like not awkward, but like, what do I say? Like, I haven't talked to you in so long. Hi, Lamont. But but they just didn't know, right? So when he got the phone calls, it was like his whole attitude changed. I want to keep the doors open, right? So the more privileges they got, the more they was like, all we gotta do is do da 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 and not mess this up. Yeah. Then I think another week went by good. Next thing you know, they added another thing, which they got 2 visits a week. They could have 2 visits a week from like their family, friends, or whoever. So the young was like, yeah, I'm gonna have all my shorties coming here. I'm gonna have one this day, one that day, and then but the older ones, they was more so like it was just to show the difference in mentality. But the funny thing was, the younger guys were more open to compromise than the older ones. So I wanted to ask you, do you think that factors in communication with older people and younger people? Whereas though we might think we got all the answers, where we don't hear younger people.
Yeah, I think so. Because I know sometimes I feel that way. I just I gotta hear people out. And if you present yourself a certain way, I don't want to hear what you have to say. That's my thing about it. But I mean, it's like that. It really is. It is because there are some old heads, who are hard headed, who don't want to hear nothing, regardless. Who don't want to hear nothing. So you can't just stay.
I ain't gonna lie, Randy balled up one dude. He was probably like 6'2", about 300 pounds. He was like, he was like, because the dude was like, but it was funny because I wasn't expecting for him to like. I was like, oh, he could really beat Randy up because Randy was like old, like little compared to dude. Yeah. But when he had him up and so didn't I tell you super fuck dude. I was like, oh, hey Randy. So And the victim was like, "You better get your hands off me. You better get your hand." It was like he didn't really want to be there. He had so much on his mind. But Randy really took a liking to him, but his mouth, and he was just so like, nigga think he this is in the third. And he was talking big swole stuff. So Randy balled him up in a little thing in front of all his little people. And then all the little young ones, they was like, he ain't gonna keep putting their hands on. It's like, I laughed so hard, and it was just crazy because I was like, oh, but towards the end, it was like, Randy ended up apologizing because he like, how can I lead by example when I did that to you in front of everybody? Like I embarrassed you. I as a man, I could have came at you better, and it was like, it was refreshing to see even in that type of environment.
Yeah.
That you could do that and set that example. Like the dude was crying, and it was a lot.
Dang, man.
And the first person I thought about was you. I was like, that sounds like Boscoe always trying to knock people out. But how do you think you would react if, like, how do you think something like that could work on the streets?
It depends where. Like here, nah.
Why? What angers me about people here, even the older people act like the younger people. Yeah. Okay, let me rephrase. In an instance of when we talk about policing, right? Because on that thing, it was more so like to develop a community, you got to become one. Was the message, right? So in a community where if you have Drew said, I don't understand how older people have such a hard time with change, but they were the ones fighting for change. That's a good point. I can answer that. The reason change, like, I'm a 60s baby, and I've seen change over the years. And the reason I've seen why things changed over the years, because the change was, the change now compared to, let's say, 20 years ago or 30 years ago. The change now is if you don't change, you are labeled as something. To where back then when it's changed, you still had your opinion. You may disagree with something, but you roll with it, but you wasn't labeled. Now, if you have a difference of opinion about something when it comes to some type of change, what are the labels you get? Hater. You get all these labels thrown at you because you're a little different. You feel different about the change. That's why, because I even see now people in a younger generation who have a problem with the change because how everything in the laid down simply because everything's being sissified. No one can be told anything anymore. If you tell them something, you're seen as toxic. You can't have your opinions. No one wants to be, what do you call it? You can't give constructive criticism. That's why people are so resistant to change now, because you can't have a difference of opinion anymore. So let people like, nah, I ain't going for that. Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. Yeah, back to the example. This is both generations, because I see in the younger generation feel the same way. Like, nah, we ain't going for that. Yeah, it's both generations. Okay, so what if, because I know we say the biggest issue is the laws, the rules, and things like that, right? So what if it was, what is it? How do they say it? You know, they say the biggest thing about it's easy to do something wrong than do something right, right? It's easy to fall into the hole. So if you're open, almost like the purge, if you're open to do certain okay. So what if it was, okay, we took all the police away, right? Almost like the purge. Yeah. You think more people will break law if more things were free range? They still break laws. Would you think it would be less or more? I think it'd be more. Why? If everything was free range. So let's
People
say
not.
if you I'm just saying, if you was a community
Mhm.
and they say, okay, we're gonna take all of this out, y'all do everything y'all supposed to do. Now let's say you can go into the store, get whatever you want to get. You can
I'm
eat,
gonna tell you
feed
what.
your
Yeah, I
family.
know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you saying. It'll still be the same because there's always those people who want more than the next person, even though they're getting it free. They still want more, and you always got those who want to control. Who like look at the pandemic. People buying all this stuff up so they can sell it, so they can hustle it and sell it on Amazon for higher price of toilet tissue and all that stuff. There's always those people out there who, like they say, who steal free shit, who want more,
Right.
and they want to have a monopoly. There's always those people. When a couple of years ago, when I was giving out 2 years ago, when I was giving out school supplies, I was handing out free school supplies. I had them in bags. I had packed in like I had 2 packs of paper, notebook, a pack of pencils, a couple of pens, a couple of markers, a good little set. It was free. I was handing them out by myself. Do. Of the, I don't know, I might have gave out like, I'm just gonna put 50. Out of the 50 people that may have came through, I want to say at least 10 of them said, yo, man, why don't you let me get more? And get an attitude because I didn't give them more. And I gave them per child, I gave them a pack of each for each child. Oh man, you can't give me 2 more? You can't give me 3 more? Da, da, da. It was always someone who had the attitude, and all this was free.
3.
If you had 3 kids, you got 3 things. It wasn't where you got one and shit. No, all 3 got it. But it was still people, no, let me get this, let me get that. Oh, come on, man, blah, 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 blah. Man, that's messed up. And that was free shit.
That was like the guy that got put out that beat up the dude that got put out over the spades game because he was cheating.
No,
because I mean that was I'm trying to make because I get it and it makes sense because it's always that one that no matter how good things are, they want to ruin it for like everybody. But I think ultimately in that instance, because they were in charge of themselves, they created their own structure.
When I was locked up, I think it would work in prison if they did it, if it started small. Because when I was locked up, I noticed where I was. A lot of the OGs kept everything peaceful. When the young boys came in trying to be this, they're like, "Nah, we ain't having that," and they straightened them out. So that made everything so much easier. So I think it'll work.
Right.
Like saying, get back to Jews thing.
Outside. Outside is different.
I don't think it. I think it could, but you would have to have some guys who are going to make sure that the stuff is enforced, because it's always blowback. But
right.
Yeah, getting back to what Jew was saying, like I said, things today are different than they were back then. I mean, just look at it. Like I said, like I said at the start, if you disagree, you get labeled. No one likes constructive criticism. No, even an opinion like, how is this? Well, I think you can do better. Oh, why you hating? And people getting their feelings real quick. That's why change is hard today than it was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Okay.
Because you can't. Let's talk about Candace Owens. Good point right here. We all know how she is, how she was. Mm-hmm. Now, we have a section of black people say, I don't trust her, I won't listen to her. But I may not agree with everything she said, but you know what? I'll listen, because you never know. But see, we got a faction of people, black people, who don't want to hear nothing she has to say. Nothing. And that's why
I learned something about her that I did not know.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching another poet, and they discussed, she came up. I did not know prior to her activism, she was a victim of some type of discrimination, right?
Yeah.
And I forgot, what was it?
Yeah, I remember it.
Either she won or something happened.
She won. She had to, what's the name had her back? I forgot who it was. Yeah.
But not too long after that, because of I think who gave her the support, she
Yeah.
went right. Or I mean,
Yeah.
red, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then I think that it influenced her, and then I think that's when they said certain things change because of that experience, and I think she has a deeper story than what we know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
I know the
kind
story.
of when they fired her, it was like, oh, okay, so now they looked at it like we're trying to wheel her back in a way, or she's going on all of these platforms to try to, what did they say? I can't remember verbatim, but along the lines of she's trying to win us back
Yeah.
over. So then
Yeah.
they mentioned the fact that she's married to a white guy,
Mm-hmm.
and which I mean, you love who you love, whatever.
Oh, I don't care. I
So
mean, James
right,
Baldwin
so
had a white
I
boyfriend.
don't even know why that came up, but it's like, okay, we're not going to change that. That's what it is. So my stance is, even when she was over there, yeah, she said some really messed up stuff, but some things she just couldn't stand away from. But it's like now she's just more passionate about it. So they felt like she was probably influenced, or whatever happened is why she had to do what she did.
Yeah,
Did
my
that make
thing
sense?
with it, and yeah, I
Like,
know her. I know her story because I remember when it happened. I know her. I know her story. The thing about it is, and like I said, I still don't agree with everything she says, but I'll listen. I'll listen, and this is why I say it won't work in our. Like okay, like people bring up her white husband, and I want you to know I'm not defending her, but I'm going to point out the hypocrisy. People said, okay, like Obama, he ain't black because of what? Because he didn't satisfy a bunch of black people. So people say he's not black because his mama, but his mama's not white either. His father's black. His mama's Hawaiian or whatever. So I don't know where the white part comes from because she's not white. But when I found with our people, we don't call people black enough because they did something we don't agree with. James Baldwin had a white boyfriend. He was gay. Don't nobody talk about that. Maya Angelou had a white husband. Don't nobody talk about that. Huh?
She did. She was married.
Maya Angelou, yeah, she had a white husband.
I know my aunt was married.
Yeah, she had a white husband. But see, nobody mentions that. The only time we mention,
to go back to that, how long was she married?
I gotta look. She was married for a minute.
Maya
Angelou. Let me look her up.
She had some white paint.
Yeah. Let me look her up. Hold on a second.
I didn't know that lady was. Get the fuck out of here.
Let me look up her husband. Hold on a second.
Oh, Angelou.
Maya Angelou, yeah. Okay, Maya Angelou husband. Let's see.
I was today years old.
Okay, yeah.
I did not know she was married.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he had passed away though.
Public knowledge, and I
know. Huh? But I'm saying the point I'm making is we like to mention, oh, this person's married to a white woman, or this person married to a white man, when we got a difference, when we got an issue with a certain black person. But there's a whole bunch of black people who we revere who was in the interracial. We don't mention that. That's the hypocrisy. That's why I said.
Listen, Maya was. Go ahead.
Man, yeah. And see, that's what I'm saying. Maya. Yes. Her husband, Paul something. I can't pronounce his name. Paul. She's married to 2 white men. Paul DeFou. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah. She's married to 2 of them.
Welsh.
I think they might have been French or something. One's French, and I think the other one was Spanish.
You said Still I Rise. Hold up.
Yeah, look her up.
Oh shit.
Welsh. Okay, yeah, Jay Nathaniel. Yeah, Welsh.
Angelou. Oh, yeah. That's how she became an Angelou.
That's how she became. Yes, that's how she became. Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
See, I tell you, I'm not bragging. Well, Coco, I'm a smart guy. I study our history. I don't be just talking. I just don't
I
be
did
talking.
not know Auntie Maya was married. All this, see,
Yeah.
that's because she was a distant aunt, on that side of the family.
But see, that's the point I'm making. That's why I say it'll be hard for it to work in our communities, in some of our communities, because we have this mindset. It's hypocrisy we have within ourselves. It's hypocrisy. I call it out. We feel
He was
certain people are black because of
author and a model. Oh, Maya had her little piece, honey.
yeah. But see, like I said, that's why I say we're hypocritical, because we see people as black based on certain things. But James Baldwin.
Oh, I'm sorry. We back
and Maya Angelou.
And all. I gotta
But
read up on
we
that.
respect them. We respect them too, which I do respect them. But that's why I said it won't work. Because we have people in our community who don't open their minds. Like I said, I don't agree with everything Trump says, but I listen to him, because you never know. You never know.
Okay, so what else have you been? Okay, so I got to the point when they went like buck wild and the dude whatever. So pretty much, I'm gonna just fast forward to the end because I know I ain't got that much time in this part. So pretty much the end result was they had to work through their issues together. They did have a time where they had to do it. I'm sorry, they called it a reset. So they got put back in their cells, and for 24 hours. And when they came out, they was like they didn't like it. So what ended up happening was throughout all the chaos, the turmoil, the arguing, the fights that did happen, like I said, it was for the most part, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Yeah. So towards the end, they came up with a plan because they did not like being it. Because think about it, you had this freedom within, so to speak. And all of a sudden it's snatched from under you again, right? Yeah. So when they came out, they was like, "Oh no, we ain't like that. We got to come together." So this time, Randy, which is the older guy, he didn't take the floor, but everybody wanted to be a part of the meeting, as opposed to in the beginning they felt forced because they felt somebody was trying to tell them what to do and do all of this stuff instead of they didn't feel like they were a part of the change, right? So this particular time, what the older guys did was they took a step back and they let the younger guys go first and express their sentiments, their thoughts about what they wanted to happen, what they didn't like, and certain things that changed. And it was like they actually heard each other. Yeah. So, which again made me think about you.
I think it can work. I mean, out here on the street, I don't know. I guess it depends on what community it starts from. I think it had to start from a not a real hardcore community, something a little softer, and work its way up. But actually, you still have to have people who's not going to sell themselves out. I think if we can get those type of people in there, I think it can happen out here on the streets. It'd be nice. It'd be real nice, for real.
Yeah, but, because it was like, even though it took towards the end, they made some good. They had to. So he was like, why should I keep the doors open? So he had to pretty much the results of this, how they could articulate why to keep it open would result in his decision. Do they go back on 23-1 or do they leave the doors open with the minimal supervision? So out of all the guys, my boy, little Tiny, he made me cry because he was the most ratchet, off the chain one. But when it came time, because what it was, because I told you they ended up getting a free visits, and he ain't had no money and stuff, right? So his son ended up coming to visit him. Finally, he was able to see his son. That's all he wanted to do It's not a movie, it's a show. It's called Unlocked on Netflix.
Yeah.
So he wanted to see his son. So his son came to visit him, and they had a nice little conversation, and it was like he lit up when his son walked in, because you know how you be like, damn, like he was so
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
guy was the one that cleaned him up, and they
Yeah.
used it. I guess he made like a perm. I didn't know y'all use perm on y'all face in there. You did that before? It was like, I guess
Crazy.
it was supposed to be shaving cream. He was like, "Do what's supposed to smell like that?" So the guy was like, "Yeah, it's a little bit of acid and something." He was
Nah.
like, he said, "It's supposed to."
I don't do none of that. I don't do
Because
none of
they
that.
couldn't have razors.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it's a
don't do none of
certain.
that.
But but anyway, he saw his son, which was
Mm-hmm.
like, that was like I teared up a little bit. I ain't even gonna hold you. But he
Yeah.
saw his son, and his baby mother was there. Everybody was real respectful. His son was like, he forgive him and all of this other stuff. And he was just pretty much like, he just wanted him to do right and not be like him. He just kept it up. So anyway,
Yeah.
when they had to do the speeches for the sheriff,
Mm-hmm.
he gave the best speech. It was like eloquent. And because like one of the guys, he said, see, we even created, like, I guess they called them like poet bosses or whatever.
Yeah.
So Tiny was like, he said, no disrespect to you. He said, I
Mm-hmm.
understand this, but I wouldn't use the term poet boss. I would say we've developed a structure of mentors, young, old, and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, you better go off, Tiny. So everybody was looking at him like, oh, this, he can talk, like he can speak,
Yeah.
like, and it was very genuine.
Yeah.
And you could see just a little bit that they got that most people take for granted changed
Mm-hmm.
their stay. And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
while they were waiting for their time to get home to their families or whatever, it was less
Mm-hmm.
stressful because they could communicate, they could see. And to those who didn't have, it meant that much more. So I
Yeah.
was like, that's just crazy. So it just goes to show. So ultimately, yes, the door stayed open,
Yeah.
and I cried again.
Yeah, I think something like that could work. They would have to start small. Don't start at something real major and just see how it goes and be like, look, we did this at another prison and it worked. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to try it here and just keep on. Of course, there are going to be some people who's always going to be, who's going to test the waters or, go against the grain. But, you get them guys out of there or you put them in
Mm-hmm.
lockup. Like, since you want to act wild, you're going to stay in lockup away from everybody. And that's that. Period.
Now I just look at it like, I just the point of structure
Yeah.
and how important it is, because when they didn't have it, and it was like even the ones who felt like they didn't need it.
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
Nah.
Oh,
Who said that?
he
Storm
said
coming.
storm
You
coming.
frozen.
Frozen
It might be. Nah,
is.
he didn't freeze on this end.
So I just looked at it like, it's even the ones who felt like they didn't need structure.
Mm-hmm.
They understood that no matter what happens or what you do, there has to be some type of balance.
Yeah.
Whether you want it or not, something has to be
Yeah.
balanced. So I use that in symbolic of life in general. Everything has to have balance, no matter
Yeah.
what we think, good, bad, ugly, or whatever. And I thought that was a good way to show, in this type of environment, if you could do this, just imagine what you can do in the outside world if there
Yeah.
was proper balance and structure.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I just think. Yeah. Yeah. I just think once you get it in place, you just have to. You have to keep it stable, and be like zero tolerance with those who act a fool, stuff like that. You have to. You just can't be okay. One more chance, and nah. Those who don't want to get with the program, you gotta let them go.
Yeah.
And in our community, and I'll keep saying it, we got a problem with accountability. we'll talk about how we want this to happen, but that dude, whoever he may be in the hood doing the dirt, everyone wants to praise him like he's, like he's whatever. Like, nah, man, we got to get out of that.
I think the important piece, if I
Mm-hmm.
was to use this particular show
Mm-hmm.
as a example, I think the
Mm-hmm.
important piece is self accountability, because
Always.
each one of them had to. It's another part. Should I give it away? I'm trying not to give it away. Well, anyway, the tattoo guy, right?
Yeah.
He was racking up during this time because couldn't nobody stop him and tell him no. It was like legal. So he was
Yeah.
racking up doing tattoos. They was getting big high, okay? They was popping
Yeah.
pills, or they was doing all kinds of stuff in their south.
Yeah.
So they ended up, when they went on 23-1, they ended up coming in and
Mm-hmm.
they said they did a search,
Yeah.
found all the shit. So
Mm.
he took the charge for the pills and stuff. And the first thing he said was, because I think it was his cell buddy first time, man, and he was like, yeah, he noticed he was like idolizing everything that he did,
Yeah.
like it was cool. He was like, yeah, I lived the life that I lived, but I still gotta, have an example. But he didn't want to penalize the other gentleman
Yeah.
for his actions, because they were given so much, and everything was kind of like like free will,
Yeah.
because he had, but he knew a lot of them didn't, because they, throughout this time, they actually didn't even realize how close they were becoming
Mm-hmm.
until these things started happening. So he what he ended up doing when he took it, they didn't put him in a hole, no nothing. He just got some of his privileges taken for a week, which I felt like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fair, because they didn't vote nobody off. They had an
Yeah.
opportunity to vote someone off. They didn't, because he took the charge, but he just lost
Mm.
like the free phone calls for like a week or something
Mm.
like that. But he still had money on the phone. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he lost those type of privileges. But
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like, in order for any type of accountability have to take place, you can't hold somebody else accountable if you can't take accountability for yourself and
Right.
what you do wrong or where you go wrong. So before we
Right.
expect other people to, you got to hold this person, how can you when you don't have self accountability? So we got to fix that first.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. And that's something we got to work on in our hood, is accountability, because we let a lot of stuff go by, and we complain about things, but we don't try to correct them ourselves. I wish it got better.
But who gonna correct Drake? You heard it?
Let me say something about that, about Drake and Rick Ross. Let me tell you about those two. You got two guys.
That I
One
gave
guy,
you your first one.
one guy stole the identity of a real gangster. He used to be a correction officer. The other guy don't even write his own rhymes, but talking about how he want all the smoke. Drake.
Whoever his ghostwriter is, fire though.
Those two, man.
But it ain't just them two.
But those are the fakes. Like with Kendrick and J. Cole, we know who they are. But Rick Ross was he was a freaking correction officer. And
How do you feel about J. Cole's apology instead of coming back on spitting bars?
You don't apologize, man. You're supposed to come back at him. Even if it's all fun.
Explain to us why.
It's
because
a battle.
I know you fucking right. Who is it? I'm sorry.
It's a hip hop battle. It's a rap battle. That's what built hip hop. Battling. That's how people got good. You battle. But everyone knows it's nothing personal. You just battling. You don't apologize. It's a battle. Because they're not, it's nothing personal. They're homies. They came out on stage like a week ago together. Kendrick and Cole. They're homies. It's a battle. You don't apologize. And I'll be like, oh man, you just want beef. It ain't. It's no. There's no beef there. Now them little rap niggas that like to shoot people up because they like that's their thing. But this is not a rap beef. Drake is not going to shoot Kendrick. Kendrick's not going to shoot J. Cole. J. Cole ain't going to shoot Drake. It's a rap battle. That's all it is. You don't apologize. No. That's why hip hop was built on battles. Battles. But ain't nobody get shot.
Some people disagree. Some people say he was the bigger man. He didn't want to go against another black man.
That's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you why it's bullshit. Because they did it before and they're buddies, they're homies. That's part of the
They not beefing. I thought they was beefing. That's why.
No, Kendrick and J. Cole ain't beefing. Kendrick said that. Kendrick said we're not beefing. He said he's trying to up the game. They're not beefing. They ain't got nothing to do with it. But that's why I hate when people say, oh, they don't want to go against another black. Shut the hell up. This is no beef. This is a friendly battle. This is competition. If that's the case, let's just shut down the NFL, the NBA, baseball. Let's shut down everything since we don't want to go against each other. It's competition. It's going back to the foundation of hip hop to bring more excitement to it. That's all it is. Kendrick and J. Cole are the best of friends. They are not beefing. Kendrick said that. We're not beefing. Guys like Rick Ross are trying to make it sound like a big beef. And even Drake with his nonsense.
How many nose jobs did Drake have, though?
How many what? How many what? How many what? You said what?
How many nose jobs did he have, though?
I mean, who?
Nose jobs. I was watching something because he talked about his plastic surgery and said about his nose job, right?
Yeah.
But no, I was watching something, and why did they put a before and after a Drake? And I was like, holy shit.
But that's the gangster rap. Everybody swears a gangster ain't been a gangster in his life. Nah, I don't want to hear that stuff about he didn't want to go against other black man. Oh, but he went against other black men in the past, J. Cole. And this is not nothing against him. This is against the people who have this little stupid excuse about he want to go against other black men.
They said we have bigger fish to fry these days instead of going against each other. We're brothers and sisters.
I don't want to hear that shit. That's why the rap game is whack now. I not like J. Cole, but that's why the game is whack right now. Just put a whole rainbow on the damn rap game. I said it. Nah, man. Nah. I can see they were beefing.
I just realized when he was talking about when he kept saying 50, I'm thinking he was like trying to reference 50, but no, he was talking about Ross because Ross is 50. I didn't.
Now Ross keep talking about 50. Say that 50 ain't got no money and all this other stuff. Ross needs to just shut up. He's the fakest guy out there.
Can't nobody mind off of Puffy case, Jay. And Puffy case gonna be here as long as everybody's saying no Diddy. Puffy case it was always gonna be around.
Yeah.
But now they got his son involved.
Yeah.
Lil Sean. Lil
yeah.
Diddy.
That don't. They don't want to push.
They don't push each other because they don't want to find out that they are lacking with their lyrics.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That would have been a good one. Kendrick and J. Cole. Yeah. I think that would have been pretty dope because I think lyrically they're both damn more talented.
But see, Kendrick called him out before. This ain't the first time. Kendrick did this before.
He come out every 3 years and do it and then go back and hide.
The only thing different last time he came back, the guys he went after didn't say nothing. But the heavy hitters did. Like Joe Ortiz and all of them came and my son came at him. Like, oh, you ain't calling us out. They all with it. They all win at Kendrick.
You think he gonna come back for Drake?
Who?
He got to.
Who, Ross?
Kendrick. Kendrick.
He might.
Ross already. Ross waiting for him to
is,
reply to the nose jobs.
Ross. I can't take Ross
Hey,
serious.
Chris. Well, Chris, we were
I don't.
discussing Unlock
I
the special.
don't take Drake seriously either. Cause like I said, Drake don't write his own rhymes. He
And
got
now we talking
ghostwriters.
about the rap beef between Kendrick, Drake,
Cole.
Rick Ross, and J. Cole. Yeah. Jadakiss did say he lost respect for Cole because of that.
Who Drake said that?
Jadakiss.
Oh, Jada, yeah, I know. I seen the thing with Jada, yeah. You don't apologize, man.
Oh, he said
I
the
like
whole industry.
Yeah.
I think okay. Let's talk about we talking about accountability, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not talking about what it was mentioned. So, that would you say that the industry is being exposed right now? Not talking about just with that, like with the whole, with all of these lawsuits, different cases.
Yep. I do.
But I always want to ask your take on that. What's your take on that?
Things happen for a reason. I always say they keep track of history, but history always repeats itself. I think it's just a phase. Some people got up there too high. Got to bring them down and realize. I don't know. I think everything's coming out because just people just fed up. People fed up with the Jay-Z's and the Diddy's acting like they're all that, and they forgot where they came from.
Do you think they're gonna bring out because you see they try and go over there and get Russell?
That's why he left the country.
Yeah, but you know they served him over there.
Mm-hmm.
They sent his papers over there. I think they're gonna try to extradite him.
They are,
because he got another lawsuit. Then but do you really think they're gonna come for Jigga?
Yeah, eventually.
That's gonna be a mess.
Eventually,
that's gonna be a mess.
All of them were in on each other, and you know why I'm glad. I'm glad it's happening. Because I was saying this so long ago, they went like I said about the hater thing, why the different generations don't get along. I was saying this. Yeah, I said this back then too. Nah, you just hating. I said, no, I'm not, man. I'm not hating. I'm not hating. And here it is. And I don't know. That's why I say so much on my Facebook wall. And none of them people that had that mouth, none of them replied. Because when I was saying it, they said, oh, that's old man energy. That's old man energy. That's all they kept saying. That's you bring that old man energy. I said, no, man, I'm telling you.
So what do you think is going to happen? Like, what do you see the future of music being? Because just then when you think about conspiracies, which we're going to talk about in the second half when we talk about the other episodes for the unexplained. I'm gonna get more into conspiracy theories, but with all of these conspiracies coming, with all of these people who are considered gatekeepers, and they have all of these other artists, what does that look like for the future of Black music?
I think it'll go
because
back
it's not just hip hop that's affected. All the artists are being affected by it.
I think it'll go back to some remnants of how it used to be. I don't think we'll ever have control over it again, but seeing how some of the older guys are coming back out, and you got guys like Bruno Mars who's bringing it back. I think we'll have some type of resemblance of what it used to be. I don't think it will ever go back to like the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. I don't think it'll ever go back because I think back then, as Black people, we had too much control of our music. And I'm not saying in terms of ownership, like copyrights, but we had more control of what we wanted to put out. To where once the 90s came around, late 90s, it got to the point to where the big record companies got involved, and the big contracts came around, and people had to write what they want, and to say to some of the fans out there, when they hear certain artists make certain types of music.
Chris, please. I mean, Chris, Jay, please retype that word. That is not how you say that. I know I joke a lot, but
you gotta fix that.
I wasn't laughing at you, but what is independent?
You gotta fix that. You gotta fix that. And like I said, well, I was saying a lot of these people who say, like, it was a situation with Lil Durk when he got that $40 million contract a couple of years ago. You know, my grandson like, yeah, Lil Durk got this contract. I said, he got a contract. I said, you know what that means? He said, what? I said, that $40 million they gave him up front, he got to make music. He got to make what they want him to make.
Mm-hmm.
I said, that's what y'all don't realize. They make him. If they say, we want you to make a song about killing 100 black people, he got to do it. He got to do it. I said, that's why they offer these big contracts. Look what they did to 21 Savage. They gave him $2 million up front. He took the $2 million. The problem is, all that music he had made, he don't own it anymore. They bought that. And so what he made after that, okay, but that's the first one that got him on, he don't own it. Eminem didn't own a lot of his music up until Encore.
Yeah, they said Kendrick don't own his either. That was one of the disses in Drake's.
Drake don't own his either.
That's why he cut.
Yeah, Drake don't.
I thought he owed a percentage. Shut the fuck up.
He own performing rights and stuff like that, but he don't own the copyrights. Not if you got a ghostwriter, you don't own copyrights. You don't got your masters. Now J. Cole has his.
Oh yeah, we know he got his. He wasn't playing no games. But
he got his. If someone's ghostwriting, you don't own your masters. Nah, someone's ghostwriting, because that's your publishing. You don't own your publishing if someone's writing, because that's pending stuff. If you're not writing your lyrics, you don't own your publishing. You don't own your masters.
Oh, you can't write no more of my lyrics.
Where your money comes, you get money from record sales and performing. But like, suppose you got a song, right, and they just play the instrumental on TV. If they just play the instrumental on TV, you don't get paid for that, because that's production. The production team gets that money. You don't get it if they play the instrumental. Nah, you don't get it. You don't get it. Yeah.
Hand Radio said Diddy was shooting off of everybody for years, and he made everybody a one-hit wonder. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you're gonna write stuff, stuff and send it right to DC. Get it copywritten. That's your publishing rights. Don't ever say your publishing rights. Yeah, that's your publishing rights. I had found that out some years ago. I found out years ago. Yeah, I found out years ago when Rod Digger, they had a little thing here in the Carolinas, and she was talking about that. And Run was talking from Run DMC. He was talking about that. Yeah, if you don't write your lyrics, you don't own your music. That's your publishing rights. No, just look on the credits. Let's see publishing. You know your publishing.
That's small print.
Nah, that's like on the front thing.
I was joking.
Yeah.
I learned a lot today. I learned Auntie Maya had a husband, little white man.
Yeah, two of them. Yeah, two of them.
Auntie Maya Lee was out here.
Like you said about Diddy, that's why Diddy was able to get over on all them people, because see, they didn't have their they didn't own their publishing. Like Biggie was about broke before he died. Biggie was damn near broke because he didn't have the money. Oh, yes, go.
Okay. We have to take a quick break, you guys. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, we may disappear, but then we're going to pop up in about 5 minutes. If you're on Ham Radio or Ham TV, please enjoy the break. How, Wendy? We're going to be back. We're going to disappear, but we'll be back. So we'll be back in 5.